Hello, everyone. This is Tracy Caulfield with the Cushing Chamber of Commerce, and today we have the Central Tech Drumright campus superintendent, or actually superintendent of both campuses, aren't you?
Correct.
Yes,
Yes.
I started saying superintendent. I was like, okay, wait, that's more than one.
No worries.
Of the Sapulpa and the Drumright Central Tech campuses, and he is here to talk about the April 7th election. There's going to be a question on there for people to vote on, to choose on, and tell us a little bit about that. So what's going on with that?
Okay. So, Tracy, we have a proposal on the April 7th ballot for an increase of 2 mills in our building fund. And so we use our building fund to build structures and to do other things with, and we're asking the voters to approve some additional funding. Turns out that every year, or this past year, we turned away 402 students.
Jeez.
And so there was 1,600 students that wanted to be in tech. 1,200 students made it in, but we just don't have enough space or enough programs to house those additional 400 students.
Right.
And so we are asking the voters to approve an additional millage, and that will help us build more facilities and add capacity so that we can put those students in the pipeline to employment.
Right.
The other thing that we're going to do with some of those funds is fund our Explorer program. So at 7 of our partner schools currently, we have what we call the Explorer program, which is aimed at 6th, 7th, or 8th graders at a time in their educational career when they can make decisions about what they want to be or what their options are when they grow up.
Right.
And they get a rich hands-on project-based learning experience in all of the 16 career clusters that are nationally recognized: health cluster, IT, construction trades, automotive, all those things. And we think it leads to an opportunity for them to really make good decisions about what's out, at least know what's out there
Right.
when they start their educational careers and go into high school, so they can know those things.
Yeah. And like you said, that the Explorer program is already established in a couple of different local schools, Cushing being one, and it is wildly popular.
It is.
We really didn't know that it was going to be as popular until you got into the thick of it, and it is wildly popular.
Yes. And a big part of why it's so popular, particularly here at Cushing, is the instructor there, Mrs. Kennedy, rock star teacher. Can't say enough about her. But we saw a pilot program out in western Oklahoma, and it is so impactful for those students. And so we brought it back here. And the concept was to spread that to all of our 18 partner schools. So for those folks that don't know, Central Texas District covers 18 partner schools from Prue and Hominy on the northeast to Kiefer Kellyville Mounds kind of is our southeast corner. Davenport is our southwest corner, and Ripley is our western corner. So if you think about all of the partner schools in that region, within that space, we'd like to have an Explorer program at each one of those.
Yeah.
What this building fund millage will allow us to do is shift some of the burden that's currently things that we're paying for in the general fund. We can move that onto the building fund and use some of those resources to hire the instructors and to equip those programs in the other 11 schools that don't have it now.
Right.
So those students deserve that opportunity as well. And that program is really not about Central Tech per se. It's really about those kids finding their path. You know, and you've heard me tell the story many times about the story of the feral child.
Yes, absolutely.
And about helping kids. You know, it's a luxury to have a kid that knows what they want to be when they grow up, and until you have one that doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's a real struggle for the parents, and it's a struggle for the kids because you don't want to see your kids struggle.
Yeah.
And so that opportunity, I think, changes the way students think about what's out there and really opens their eyes to what the possibilities are.
Yeah, absolutely. To kind of focus, drill in a little bit more about these 402 students that were not able to go to a Central Tech program. I think that becomes such a, when you talk about it, it's just, oh, well, there was just those 402 kids. Sure. Too bad for them, There's other things that they could do. that's not the case, because the vast majority of them, they missed out on the opportunity of learning a new skill, learning the skill that they would like to go into. And I was writing, because our chamber board of directors voted yesterday to fully 100% support the April 7th vote, yes, for this issue on your ballot. And I was putting this on our website, and I put that, in U.S. history, we are suffering right now significantly in workforce. We have a huge problem right now of not having enough skilled and qualified laborers, workforce in our workforce at all, across the U.S. and in Oklahoma in particular, and so this is much more than just some high school students not being able to get into a program. So much more than that. Not every student's going to go to college. They may go for a little bit and then decide it's not for them, or go into the wrong program altogether in college and then decide, I learned that skill back in high school. That's what I'm actually going to be doing, or even for the adults. This is also rolls into the adults as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So it will free up. So, I tell people, those 402 students, you think, well, they'll, they'll find their path, or they'll get back in the pipeline. But there's another 1,600 students next year that want to be in the same program.
Yeah.
And so the pipeline of people that want to be in programs keeps coming, and so those 402 miss out. Now they can loop back into an adult program. They might come into adult nursing or surge tech or truck driver training or one of our adult programs.
Right.
But this pipeline keeps coming. Those students keep coming. Those 1,200. Yeah. If we don't increase the capacity, the likelihood of those people coming back. Because as an adult student myself, when I went to work on my master's degree and stuff, it's hard when you have a family. If you don't have that foundation early on in your career, it's hard to come back into that pipeline. It's hard to be a single mom taking a nursing program. It's hard to be a single dad, in the truck driver training program that lasts, 10 hours a day for 5 weeks with no income coming in and things like that. Yeah. If we can solve those problems and get the people in the right places and have the capacity to do so, particularly in areas like healthcare and what we call the heavy trades, construction trades, electrical, plumbing, HVAC. Those are some of the things in our surveys, and you look at employment data, those are the areas that are really, really have a push right now. The average age of the plumbers in the United States is 58 years old.
Yeah, we're fixing to have
and their wages are up. Of course, my son's an electrician, and he complains about the plumbers making as much money as electricians now.
Right.
So he says he should have gone into plumbing. But, just out of scarcity, and in the healthcare field, that is a huge growth area. Gosh. And there will be tons and tons. Over the next 10 years, healthcare is just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. So the opportunities are there. We just need to get the people the tools that they need to engage in those kinds of careers. Yeah,
absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about the millage itself. Mm-hmm. So a lot of questions have been, that how much is that actually, and what does that mean? So could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So a mill is 1/1000th of a dollar, and a lot of people know that. And so I heard some folks visiting last night that did. I explained that to them. So 2 mills is $22 per $100,000 of value. So if your property is worth $100,000, that's $22 per year. If and you multiply that, if your property is worth $200,000, then it's $44 a year, and up from that. I have some Creek County data because we cover all of Creek County. So the average home value in Creek County is $183,000. Mm-hmm. So that, falls somewhere in that $35, $36 per year range. That's what it means for the average homeowner in Creek County. Payne County's maybe a little bit more than that. I don't know for sure. But that in an investment side of the house, that's what that looks like.
Right.
So that kind of is the millage in a nutshell. It is intended to go forward until voted out by a vote of the people. And that's in the ballot language. Yeah. In the career techs, most career techs do not do bond issues, and so this is the way that that we have funded both maintenance and construction and those kind of things for our facilities, such as adding facilities that we can house more programs in, and so that's kind of what we'd like to do. The last time we asked for additional millage was in 1998. So it's been 28 years since we've asked for any additional funding. But that 402 number is just going to continue to grow. If we can't address those kids, those students, not just kids, but adults and students as well, and take them off of that wait list and get them in the employment pipeline, then, studies show that, wages for just high school are significantly less than high school plus a career, not a career diploma, but a career credential or something like that. So, you're making a real economic impact as you move people from just high school diploma up into some kind of credentialed career that they could have.
Yeah. And as you were saying that, I was thinking, you're going to be paying that much more in your property taxes to help pay for this, as much as you would be taking a family of 4 or 5 out to dinner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
like
exactly the equation there.
Yeah.
You're going to be spending the same amount of money taking your family of 4 to 5 out to dinner as you are going to be paying yearly into this Central Tech millage, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
For a normal, household, probably.
Correct. And nobody likes to pay taxes. I totally understand that, and that's what I hear a lot is our taxes are too high right now, and I understand that, and I
totally get it.
I totally get that. But as I talk to people, I've been really encouraged by a lot of people in the community, people that I did not know were career tech graduates.
Right.
And they say, I don't like paying taxes, but this is one that I feel good, that I like.
Yes.
Or that I feel like is probably a strong
right.
word, but that I don't mind paying because it seems like a good investment.
Yes.
And it's affirming to hear people say that.
Yes, because it's a thing that do you want skilled workers in our future? Do you want your children to have skilled workers or be a skilled worker and a qualified worker? And it's really what it boils down to. Sure. Are we ready to invest in our workforce?
Absolutely. And I talk these 4, I always tell people I have these 2 numbers in my head, and 402 is a number that I keep in my head all the time, and the 11 Explorer program. So 402 and 11 are 2 numbers and there's nothing more difficult than when I go into a business in the community or see a parent on the street, and they say, hey, my kid's trying to get into diesel, but they didn't get in this year. And I have to encourage that parent, because again, you don't want to see your kids struggle. You want them to be successful and find their path. And when you see them struggling, there's not a spot for them in health careers or in welding or one of those programs, it's heartbreaking is what it is, because you know that student has missed out. And unless they really, really, really put out the additional effort as an adult to come back, that, you change the trajectory, they're just going to keep on the trajectory they're on. And so those are difficult conversations we have in the community. And I want to fix that. I want that to be better.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Is there anything else you would like to add on this?
I pretty much said it all. I mean, it's about the 402 kids. We need to increase capacity and take those students off the wait list and get them in a program, in a career that is good for them and is good for the economy. And that Explorer program is the other side of that. It helps them determine early on when they can make differences in their educational trajectory to get into the right field. And again, not about career tech or Central Tech. That's about those kids and their lives, and whether it's a college-bound program or not. It just really exposes them to what could be. If you can't see it, you can't be it. That's what I tell them.
Yeah.
And so, take those 402 kids off the wait list and really educate those kids about their educational opportunities and what careers are out there. That's really all there is to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here, Kent.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Really appreciate it. Again, on April 7th, you'll be going to the polls, to your local polling location to vote. And per the chamber, they can't say to yes or no or in between, but on behalf of the chamber, we fully support this initiative and hope that everyone gets out and votes yes on this. Also, we will be hosting early voting. The Payne County Election Board will be taking over the Cushing Chamber office again, April 2nd and 3rd, which is next Thursday and Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. So anyone who lives in Payne County and is a registered voter, they will have your ballot here. and of course the Cushing ballot. So there is this issue on the ballot. There's also a city commission election on the ballot. So please get out and vote, and please vote yes for the Central Tech vote. We appreciate it. Have a great day, Cushing.